Data is literally everywhere. But just having a mountain of it doesn't do you any good, right? You've got to store it, make sense of it, and that's where things get interesting. Turns out there are two totally different ways to think about this. So let's dive in and break it down.
So, in the world of data, it really boils down to two main ways to store everything. We're talking about the data warehouse and the data lake. And yeah, they might sound kind of similar, but trust me, how they handle data, they're from completely different worlds.
All right, let's kick things off with the first one, the data warehouse. The best way to think about this, it's the specialist. The meticulous, super organized expert that's built for one very specific and very important job.
And really, the key is right there in the definition. A data warehouse only wants data that's already been cleaned up, processed, and put into a nice, neat structure. This is not your junk drawer for random info. Nope, it's more like a perfectly organized library where every single book is in its proper place, just waiting for you to use it.
So, what's the point of all this organization? Well, you get answers and you get them fast. We're talking about things like pulling up clean sales reports in a Snap, building those cool interactive customer dashboards, or tracking your KPIs, the big numbers that tell you if your business is winning. The data is all prepped and ready to go.
And listen, this isn't just some theory. There are huge companies built around this. You've probably heard of at least one of these names: Snowflake, Google BigQuery, Amazon Redshift. These are the big, powerful tools that businesses are using every single day to build out their data warehouses.
Okay, so now let's flip the script completely. On the total opposite end of things, you've got the data lake. And if the warehouse is that neat freak specialist, the data lake, well, it's more like an ambitious collector. Its whole philosophy is just different.
The two words you really got to remember here are raw and native format. A data lake's whole motto is basically, hey, just throw it all in here. We'll figure out what to do with it later. It takes in data exactly as it is. No cleaning, no organizing up front. It's like this giant reservoir, just full of raw, untapped potential.
And this really shows you just how flexible a data lake is. It honestly doesn't care what you give it. You got neat structured tables? Great, throw them in. Semi-structured stuff like JSON files? Yep, that works too. What about totally unstructured things like photos or server logs or even videos? Bring it on. It all just goes right into the lake.
I mean, just look at the variety here. You can have a simple spreadsheet file sitting right next to some super complex server logs, images, and video clips. The whole point of a data lake is to just capture it all, because you honestly never know what piece of data might turn out to be pure gold later on.
All right, so we've met our organized specialist and our collect-it-all hoarder. Now it's time for the face-off. Let's put them head-to-head and really see what makes them tick. This is where it's all gonna click.
Okay, so if you boil it all down, this is the number one difference. A warehouse holds data that is cleaned up and ready for analysis, right now. A lake, on the other hand, holds raw data that's just being stored for a potential use later. It really is immediate answers versus future exploration.
And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. Check this out. A warehouse has something called schema on write. Fancy term, but it just means the data has to be organized before you put it in. A lake is the opposite, schema on read, which means you just dump the raw data in and only worry about giving it structure when you're ready to actually use it. And that totally explains who uses them, right? Business analysts love the clean, ready-to-go warehouse for their reports. And data scientists? They love diving into that messy, raw data lake to hunt for brand new discoveries. Okay, if all that schema on read stuff still sounds a little confusing, don't worry. I've got the perfect analogy that's going to give you that aha moment. Let's talk about a supermarket. Just picture it. You walk into a supermarket and you look at the shelves. Everything is perfectly organized, right? Every can has a label, the produce is clean, the boxes are stacked neatly. It's all packaged and ready for you to just grab and use. You know exactly what it is. That is a data warehouse. It's data that's all prepped and ready for you. But wait, where did all that stuff on the shelves come from? Well, it came from that giant, chaotic storage room in the back, right? Back there, everything's still in its original shipping crates. It's a huge jumble of raw, unprocessed goods. Now, there's tons of potential back there, but someone has to unpack it, clean it, and put it on the shelf before you can use it. That, my friends, is your data lake. So look, if you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this simple quote right here. A data warehouse is all about clean data for analysis right now, and a data lake is all about raw data for storage and future use. One is for now, the other's for later. Simple as that. So at the end of the day, it's not about which one is better.
It's always about the right tool for the right job. And the question you have to ask is this: does my problem need a nice, clean report right now? Or does it need a deep, exploratory dive later? Are you answering a question you already have? Or are you searching for questions you haven't even thought of yet? That's really what it all comes down to.